The fight most people are talking about, Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr.'s WBO welterweight title is on the line. There's really only two ways this fight can go. Haney's going to move around the ring and Norman can't cut the ring off, and Haney's able to win a decision, right? So if that were to happen, keys to victory, what Haney needs to do first is make Norman lose confidence in his ability to land punches on him. And a good way to do that is either foot feints or a jab. He needs to establish the distance that the fight is fought at, and he needs to also explain with his actions that he is faster than Norman. So wherever Norman plans to be, he's going to be able to move from that place, and he's going to be able to counter. So he's going to have to start making Norman, who's a good puncher but a good counter puncher, having to counter his counters. And what happens when someone's sometimes trying to counter a counter is their hands are in the pocket and they look like Arthur Abraham because they're now waiting so long to get off, right? That's one thing Haney needs to do. Haney also needs to prove, and you can do it two ways. He can take a shot and prove that he can take a punch, or that he's not going to get hit, but he needs to make Norman start to question whether if Haney gets hit, how Haney responds to a punch. Because I think there are a lot of people that believe that when Haney gets hit, the fight could fall apart for him based on the Linares fight, based on the Ryan Garcia fight, and based on he didn't have a great performance with Jose Ramirez. So I think that he needs to do that. And I think finally, Haney also needs to, at points in this fight, be able to fight Norman on the inside and show that he can be in the inside, not for extended periods of time, but for moments, and that he's not too rattled to be on the inside with Norman. I think that would be a big confidence booster for him in the fight. Now, on the flip side, I think Norman needs to, not unlike Benavidez, start quickly. And I think he needs to show Haney that the punches Haney's throwing have no impact on him. So I think that it might be a couple of rounds, but he needs to start walking him down and going like, your punches are ineffective. They're bouncing off of me. They're like rubber bullets. They're not impacting me. And he needs to mentally put a lot of pressure on Haney, because that's where I think a lot of people question, how does Haney handle the mental side of boxing when guys are physical with him? So I think that's one thing he needs to do. Secondly, in this fight, Norman really needs to set up punches as opposed to looking for one punch. It's easy to look for a left hook. It's easy to look for a right hand. He needs to set these shots up, let a jab go, let a right hand go, and then hook off of it. If he gets in a habit of looking for one big shot, Haney's going to be in a great rhythm. The key to this fight for both fighters is who's going to find their rhythm, because both fighters actually fight off of rhythm and are rhythm fighters. And when they've had trouble in fights, it's been against guys that have kind of offset their rhythm or made them struggle with things. I think an interesting thing to watch in this fight is hand speed. Ryan Garcia had hand speed on Devin Haney early in the fight, and it bothered Haney. I'm curious to see what the hand speed difference is for Norman and Haney, because that's going to be very telling as the fight moves along as well.